And, knock on the door, no one answers. It's probably 10 o'clock, 10:30. I did have a key. I knew he was home, so I opened the door.
Oh,
and
God.
I see just bottles of booze, all sorts of other fun items like lying around, women's articles of clothing, literally like everywhere. And I'm just like, hello, but calling his name. I'm like, hey, it's me. I'm here to show the house. Hello. Like someone's going to be here in like 15 minutes. I made my way up to the master bedroom.
Oh, God.
Door flies open and the girls start flying out. And I was just like,
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalowski here with
Cameron Barbier.
Today, I'm very excited about this guest. We have Vincent Crudo with us.
hi guys. Hi ladies.
So we've known Vincent for years. I mean, you especially. Your husband knows him. And you've always been so kind. And I just want to say thank you for that. I told you, I didn't tell you what was going to be in the intro. Do you remember when we first met? I don't think you do.
I don't.
Okay. Our team had a listing on Camino de la Costa. Do you remember that? You brought the buyer. Do you remember what house that was?
I do remember.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I remember. Yes.
And I did a showing there with you. Our team lead was like, hey, go do this showing. And I had never met you. You walked in, you're like, hi. And I was literally 6 months to a year in the business at that point. Yeah. And you were so kind. So thank you very much. You've always been fantastic. We just love you. Yeah.
Great house, by the way. And my clients are so happy there.
Are they still there?
Good.
Yeah. They come into town. It's a second home for them. But I see them all over the village. And like
literally one of my favorite houses. I mean, we spent a lot of time there too because it didn't sell right away. So we did some open houses but it was
with the pool.
Yes.
Okay.
New construction.
Yeah.
Great house. We got a good deal.
Yeah, you did.
It took a lot of effort from both sides.
There was, yes, because there was a few issues, but we worked through it anyway, like we always do.
Amazing. That was the first time we met. Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time. And we may have seen each other before that, but that was the first time we actually
let's show another house on that street and maybe we can do another.
Preferably, and then I bring the seller or the buyer. That'd be great. Yes, I love it. Okay. So you've been in the business 20 years and he's with our very own brokerage, Compass. So we get to see him all the time.
Gosh, 20 years.
20 years. Do you feel old?
Lately, I've been a little bit more... I don't feel old, but I just feel like I'm way more direct.
Oh, me
like
too.
That.
I think, is it being in your 40s? I just told him I'm about to turn 40 and he's like, enjoy it, embrace it. I was like, I'm going to Turks and Caicos. Like, I'm out of here. Anyway, this is still the intro and this is what happens every time. Vince, welcome Behind the Lockbox.
Welcome.
Yes.
That's how it should be. It should just flow.
100%. So when you walked in, I was like, brief me on like what you're going to tell me. Which one do you want to start with? Because you didn't tell me everything, but she didn't hear either. So what do you want to start with the banger or?
I guess, I don't know. They're both pretty good. So
they are.
So I'll fill you in with the one that I had. It was my listing and I was showing it.
Yes.
Being a buyer.
Okay.
So property in La Jolla. This was a while ago. My seller was a younger guy.
Okay.
Booked a showing with him. I gave him some notice. Probably, I think it was like a Friday morning I was coming. And, knock on the door, no one answers. It's probably 10 o'clock, 10:30. Knock again, ring the doorbell, no one answers. I did have a key. I knew he was home, so I opened the door.
Oh, God.
And I see just bottles of booze, all sorts of other fun items like lying around, women's articles of clothing, literally like everywhere.
And we're talking one woman's article?
No, there was looked like there was, lots of stuff going on. And I'm just like, hello, but calling his name. I'm like, hey, it's me. I'm here to show the house. Hello. Like someone's going to be here in like 15 minutes.
And it's not clean.
No, far from clean. Like it looked like out of a movie. I don't know, like The Wolf of Wall Street, type of like scenario of
I'm thinking like Vegas hotel room.
Yeah, absolutely. Like equivalent.
The Hangover aftermath. There's a tiger in the corner. You're like, what the just happened?
And there was a lot of bedrooms in this particular house. Like, it was like a full fun party house.
So it's a big house.
Yeah, it was a big house. 5 bedrooms. I don't know, probably like 4,000 feet.
What's going to be behind each door?
I made my way up to the master bedroom.
Oh, God.
And I'm like,
and the door's closed.
Calling his name, and he's like, comes out, boom, it's like basically like door flies open and the girls start flying out, and I was just like, most of them not really wearing anything, and he's like, oh, sorry dude, it's kind of got away from me and blah blah blah. I'm like,
wait, is he the only guy?
he had roommates, but they were like downstairs, but where everything else was happening.
It was him
it
and
was just him and his
Array.
friends
flood of women.
and his friends.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, just my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, he's like, no, we'll have it all cleaned up. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not showing the house like this. Like, I'll come calling and rescheduling.
You're like, no, this cannot be cleaned up in a matter of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
I'm like, thanks for the heads up. Next time, if you're going to go big and have like
a rager.
fun time,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. But just give me a heads up if I'm going to show it the next.
Oh my God.
How was your buyer? Or was did they have a different agent?
No, it was, there was the buyer's agent. Yeah. I just said, hey, we can't show the house. Like, it's not in showing conditions. Sorry.
Come
back tomorrow.
I know you're on your way, but that we got to get that.
It was something like I've never seen. Like,
wow.
like out of a movie. It was really fun. It was fun. It was like, I'm like, hey,
I mean, that's hysterical though.
like, congratulations.
Invite me next
Good
time.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if I wasn't
married at that
married
point.
and had kids, I'd be like, yeah, I'm there.
Your wife's like, absolutely not. I know what goes on in that house.
No, but I ended up selling the house.
I was just going to ask, like, how soon after did it sell?
Not that. It was kind of a tough sale, but it was
okay.
Just the way it kind of configured. But it was,
yeah.
I think I sold the house like 3 times.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
listed it, sold it, and then they hired me to resell it.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, that's the dream right there. So, it was worth the
house that kept on giving, so to speak.
In many ways.
Yeah.
More ways than one.
Yes.
That's hysterical. Oh my God. Does he still live here in La Jolla?
No, he moved out of town. He was moving out of town. Yeah.
Probably to Vegas.
Probably.
Close, but no.
Not quite. And is he still single? Just kidding.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Look at Vince is like, let me find out for you. Hold on. I don't know. All right.
We're gonna find your husband on this podcast, I swear.
Your mouth to God's ears, one can dream.
Yeah.
You need to keep a lookout for me.
We'll get you set up.
Yeah, maybe not.
The best way
like
is
that.
a referral.
Okay, please. I mean,
Can I get a 20%?
I'm counting on you.
Yeah.
referral?
Yeah. Royalty. I get a royalty if I set it up.
He calls Cam. He's like, I found the guy. They're going to get married. You guys can officiate the wedding.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
I have officiated a wedding before.
Me too.
Yeah. Or it was my brother's.
Oh, mine was a girlfriend of mine. And I wore like a lady tux and I had the whole thing. Oh, yeah.
You know what was crazy is like it didn't really hit me. When I was doing that, I'm like, well, that's my brother and this is his wife. And it just kind of like hit me. I was like, I need a minute.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really cool.
I forgot to tell everyone to sit down, which is hysterical. And then I hear this whole like, everyone sits down. And I'm like,
Oh, now it's my turn.
Anyway, we're going to keep going. Like, yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Did you apologize?
No, I just kept it going.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, it's fine. They know what to do. Like,
rolling.
yeah.
It is awkward though when you're like sitting there, like, am I allowed to sit down?
Yeah, well, because you don't want to mess up. It's like kind of,
Right.
it's a big deal,
just
for
keep it
someone to
casual.
ask you. I totally did. And I had jokes in there as I do, and like they trusted me with everything. So it was super fun, but I would do it again. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I can sell you a house and I can marry you. So full service.
Yes.
Same with you.
Absolutely.
Should we have new
And I've
slogans?
actually set people up.
Yeah,
I have
Oh, you're Cupid.
multiple times.
Okay, can you please
here
work
we go.
on over here, please?
Like, really, as I think about it, I'm like, people owe me. Like,
All right, Vince, this is your new.
So, okay, you're
This
next.
is your new goal. Yes,
Here we
I'm
go.
next. Yes. So if you've got like preferably like a really, his shit together buyer that's single, let me know.
if Wing's buying like a nice price house, I'm like, hey,
Cam, come check out this guy right now. Come see. We'll step
So
like this.
how did you like feel that these two people would get together? Because you knew what they liked, or like
well,
your
one,
setup?
Question.
Right? Because I'm thinking for you.
So let's see. One is a friend and a client.
Okay.
And then the gal she was working with me, not me, but in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I was like, actually, you're kind of like be a fit. So I just kind of like teed it up. And then,
They get married?
no, they didn't get married, but they dated for a while.
Wow.
Well, that's
That's
a success.
impressive. Yeah.
But another client of mine, like this, I was showing a house on Camino de la Costa off market.
This is where we need to be.
And then it was a fixer. And
That's okay.
this girl that I know walked by with her kid. I've known her for a while. She was going to preschool with my daughter. And
Yeah.
long story short, he's like, who is that? And you need to get her number from. I'm like, literally, I'm like, you kidding? Come on. I hollered at her up the hill. I'm like, hey, hey, my friend really thinks you're cute. Can I give him your number? And he's like, she's like, oh my God, yeah, please. And they're still together today.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I remind him all the time.
So I'm just gonna start walking up and down Camino de la Costa.
Good idea.
Until he's showing a house.
Yeah.
And
And
hollers
I'm like,
for you.
yeah, exactly. Vince drives by. I'm like, no, nothing yet. Okay, just keep going. Keep going. Let me know. Keep me posted. A couple other people we've talked on this podcast have like Dylan, one of our friends, Dylan, he was like picking up a friend of his in an alley, like off Eads, because like that's where her garage was or whatever. And I was like, so I need to hang out in alleys is what you're saying then. Like
In community with Costa.
that's a
timing.
better plan.
Patience.
You know what? I'm okay with like it happening when it happens, you know?
Yeah.
I've got big things on the horizon the next month. So,
Good.
you know, yeah. Anyway, okay. Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PROPERTYSHOWCASEGROUP.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. All right. Well, you know what your job is.
I know what my job
okay.
is.
Anyway.
I'll fill you in with my next story.
Please do. Yes. And I won't be doing this next story, but maybe, you never know.
Oh, yeah. Probably not.
What is this?
Oh, you're going to die.
Probably not. So, I built primarily my business doing open houses. I've met a lot of interesting people throughout the times, but mainly La Jolla is where I would do my open houses.
Sure.
Right.
You kind of meet the same people over and over. I'm like, so at one point, I'm like, so how long is it going to take until you're going to buy? You know?
Yeah.
How many years are you going to keep
see all the time? Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, so this lady comes in and we just start talking. I'm like, oh, here again, you haven't found anything, but whatever.
Because you've seen her
some small
multiple times,
yeah.
obviously.
She finally like, I'm thinking about selling my house. Will you come up and give me an opinion on value? I'm like, great. What's your contact? Blah, set an appointment.
It's about time.
We go up there, a really nice street in La Jolla. Set the appointment. And this was a few years back. So one of my colleagues was in the office. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go look at this house. Why don't you come with me?
And this colleague we know?
His colleague you guys probably know pretty well. And
on our team. Mm-hmm.
So we go up there and ding dong, hit the doorbell, and boom, door flies open. And this lady, older lady, is in her robe with like lingerie on. And and my friend was like elbowing me like
can you see
what
it?
are you like what did you get us into here? And I'm just like hey, so and so like thanks for having us over, like come on in, and touring us around the house.
So you did. I mean, you went in and like
I just went in like hey,
whatever. There's nothing to see here. I don't see anything that
no,
you're
no asking her questions about the house
sticking out of your robe. It's cool.
Right. And I was like, I'm like, dude, what if you didn't come with me?
She thought this was a date.
Thank God. I was like, hey, come with me.
She probably opened the door and was either like, oh, what is he here?
She's like,
or
yay? She's like, yay?
two.
Or she's like 2 for the price of
She's
1.
like, great.
But that had never happened to me before.
That is
I mean, I've had some really
wild.
strange things during open houses, like people like looking at snails in the backyard and like,
Look at snails.
looking at my ceiling fan, just watching it like, twirl and mainly
weird.
for the ladies. Like I get for my wife who does like open houses. I get like worried for her. Sometimes I'm like, hey, just call me if like things are a little weird,
Right.
Because we deal with the general public.
We do. And we've talked about this
don't
many
know.
times before of like, we've had other female agents on the podcast where the conversation took a turn to where it can be dangerous.
Oh,
like
100%.
people don't totally know what we deal with. I think if anyone listening now, they get it after this, after us doing this podcast. But
there's been some like pretty heinous stories. You probably haven't heard them in a long time, but
there's been some bad. there have been agents that have been
shit
killed. No. Like female agents. There was an agent back, I think, right before COVID or even during COVID that she went in and there was a squatter in there and he attacked her and she got away. But there has been agents that have been murdered. I mean, you have to be so careful. I don't really do open houses by myself anymore. I've just kind of decided it's not really worth it. I mean, if it's a one-off thing or if I'm there for an hour or two, it's like, my guard is up all the time, but it's not, but for guys, I mean, George Douglas came on and he had some really funny, like crazy stories of like, just,
He kind of even felt unsafe. At
he
one
did.
point.
And
Yeah.
he's
Big George, huh?
big George.
Right, that's what we're saying.
Teddy bear.
6'5".
He is a teddy bear, but he's like, he's 6'5". He's a big dude. And so, he was like, I was literally like, oh my God, is this how it's going to end? And imagine if I was there by myself and this weirdo came walking in. Like, it happens, So
I've never I've never felt unsafe.
which is good.
Yeah.
I have only once. And I got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Yep. So I left, I locked up. I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm not going to do this. So
Okay.
Maybe cold calling.
I need to go back to this lady's outfit. What?
Yeah.
Can you describe it again?
Yes.
So what I remember, white robe
Oh, it was white. I was thinking it was red.
with like, I don't remember the color of what was underneath. Like, really trying,
wasn't trying to
really
look.
trying not to look there.
Does, and we need to ask him. Should we call him right now and be like, you're on speaker?
He would remember anything like that.
He absolutely
He would remember the whole story. And
He would
be
remember
dying.
every detail.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that he was nudging you. That's so him.
He's like, see him. It's
He's like
so him.
hitting me. I'm like, bro.
He's probably like, oh yeah.
He's like, you
like,
didn't
"This is
tell
why
me it
you
was this
brought
kind
me
of
here."
like evaluation.
You're like, no, I swear, I like didn't know. I swear.
Oh, it was fun.
It's literally so perfect that he was the one that was with you. Like,
Yeah, of course. Well, why, I mean, that's probably what happened. you
She
know?
didn't feel like you couldn't see like a oh no or
yeah,
like,
what was her demeanor?
reaction.
Like,
No, it was come on in. Let me show you around the
Oh,
house.
yeah, she
it
was
was
like,
like,
Here's the
Two.
primary.
yeah.
I was like, okay,
There's like
guys wanna
candles
come
lit
in?
and stuff.
this is really interesting. Like,
Yeah, wait, was the house nice? Was it clean? Were there
no,
candles
it was
lit?
like, it was probably like at the time, probably like worth like $5.5 million.
Oh,
Nice,
damn.
nice view, big
No,
house.
yeah.
Did
This
she
was
ever
10 years ago.
sell or find?
No, she never sold. I did follow up with her.
Yeah, you did.
He's like, I talked to her last week.
I'm like, so are we selling?
Your wife is like, I'm going with you on that appointment.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like,
You know,
"Where
I
am I?"
didn't tell her for the longest time. I don't know
Does
why.
she know now?
Yeah.
Well, if she doesn't, she knows now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was just like, how do you broach that subject? So I had a pretty interesting day today.
I know. I mean,
So I went to this lady's house and she was basically half naked and
Yeah.
showing me around her house.
yeah. And that was pretty much it. And then she
Yeah.
bent over and her boob popped out and it was just like, all right, time to go. Can you imagine?
I love that she was older too.
I know. Damn, she was like, no. I mean, that's why he also kept seeing her at his open houses.
Yeah.
So she
Clearly-
was like following you,
Oh, yeah.
Or I never really thought about it like that.
or
Were you married at the
She
time?
wanted you.
And you had your wedding ring on?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Why do you always think that stops people?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I know it does. I guess it doesn't. It doesn't.
I could see you being like an older lady and doing this.
Oh my God.
Well, it should stop most people. Most people.
Could you? She's like, come on over.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, you're the worst. Don't listen to her. She's not. It's not true.
Did Vincent? He's like, I'm the mailman. Can you please put your robe back on?
Right. Whatever keeps it spicy. So,
But I mean, I guess. Oh my God.
mean, come
Oh
on.
my God. I kind of hope that happens to me at some point, though. Although that could not happen the other way around. Well, I guess it could, but that would be super creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean the other
Like
way
a guy,
around?
like if we walked in and there was
Yeah.
like
if I invited you over to
cellar,
come, like, oh, hey.
yeah,
That happened to my mom.
it did.
Yeah, she needs to come on the podcast. She told me a story like that.
No.
Mhm. Yeah,
I could see it more going that way.
yeah.
Then-
And she had to get like the broker involved, and it was.
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah.
That's like actually kind of scary. Actually, Scott Robeson came on months ago. He was one of our first guests and it was in Palm Springs doing an open house. And for anyone who hasn't listened to this episode, you should go back and listen to it. Cause I was like, can you imagine if it was like straight people again? He was doing an open house and this guy came in and like the day before he came in, like right before he was going to close. And he's like, I'll come back tomorrow. So the guy leaves, comes back. He literally is like, okay, again, you're here like right at 4:00, but like whatever. And the guy was like walking up the driveway with Scott's open house signs. And Scott's like, thank you, like, I guess. And like basically closing up the open house for him. So they go in, he closes the front door. Scott's walking around showing him everything, turns around and the guy has pants down, everything out, and is like, you want it or something? And Scott was like, and I was like, can you imagine? They're gay, but like if that happened to straight people,
No.
I would like,
It's kind of like punch in the face, kind of.
yes,
yes.
that's terrifying. Like I would
Scream and
literally
run.
scream and run, like scream and I was like, what did you do? And he was like, I was just like, no, put that away.
Yeah,
Like,
put your pants on, bro.
yeah. And he like kicked him out and I was just like, oh my God. But like, can you imagine?
Maybe he was picking up on the wrong signals.
He
Clearly.
Yeah. And you know, I don't know. It's Scott. So I was like,
There's
that
two
only
sides
would-
to every story.
Yeah, Scott. And maybe you were lying to us. I don't know. Anyway, those are really good. But I know you have to get out of here soon because we were on a time crunch. So do you want to play a game really quick before
Yeah,
you go?
sure.
Okay. Cam's going to ask you 3 rapid fire questions. The game is called Punch List because we hit you with 3 questions. Right, Todd? He gets mad at me because I don't get it right. Anyway, my brother named the
I
game.
still don't get it.
I know. He's going to be mad at you for that. He's
I know.
going to send you a text for that now. Okay.
At least he'll text me.
What's the first one?
Okay, what's the craziest or pettiest thing that's ever killed or almost killed one of your deals?
A pretty big agent in town, not a La Jolla agent, but this guy,
I know
You're going to have to tell me offline.
so he it was a property in Del Mar. I represented the buyer. He had the seller.
Okay.
And he couldn't figure out the day of delivery.
The agent.
Right. So acceptance is on when you deliver the contract.
Yeah.
Not when it's dated on the side of the signature.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
So
yeah,
he
yeah.
was going off the side of the signature, and I don't know, maybe it came in like late in the evening, and I sent it the next morning.
Right.
Whatever the scenario was, but
Right.
we were squabbling over like contingency periods.
Because of what's in the contract versus like when. So for
When to
anyone who
remove contingencies, right?
Right. So for anyone who doesn't know, like what Vince is saying is that basically when you sign the contract, like if I was your buyer and I signed it at like 10 p.m. and then you sent it the next morning, he's trying to go off.
acceptance. We're trying to
which-
determine acceptance.
Right. Which
Right.
can be hairy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then upon that date, we'll determine my future dates to when I have to remove
Right.
items.
And close
Contingencies
escrow.
and all that stuff. Yep. Everything is from there. Yeah.
So we were really like having it out, and I'm like,
Dude.
are you serious?
And this is not, by the way, a negotiation. This is like,
No,
these
I'm
are
under
the set
contract.
rules.
No, like I'm under contract.
Exactly.
And I needed just a little bit more time for whatever it was. I don't know,
Right.
square footage. It was determining square footage in the interior of the house, looking to expand it.
Sure.
Something pretty minor.
Right.
And
But still something that you're like, just give me a
assured him-
day.
Yeah, I just assured him. I'm like, I need like whatever, 5
Right.
days.
Right.
And we were literally, it's the first time I ever told an agent to shut the F up.
Wow.
And I actually had
hate when that
I was
happens.
actually mentoring an agent at the time.
The agent's sitting right next to you and you're like, do as I say, not as I do.
I was like, oh, I've never done that. This guy got me to that level. Like never lost.
It's
not that
happened
I lost
once.
my cool, but he was kind of like talking over me. And I'm like, dude, just shut the F up. Can you just listen to what I'm telling you?
Right.
And then he's like, oh, congratulations. You figured out the contract. I'm like, oh,
The condescension too.
like, dude,
you know what I mean? Like
it's not that hard.
yeah.
I'm a very collaborative agent. I know
You
most
We
agents
try.
are.
Yes.
Because I'm only here to facilitate for my client, and so are you.
Yes.
That's
as the other
thing is
agent.
we're on the
Common
same
goal.
team. We have the same goal, 100%.
Yes.
And
So
agents tend to fight you about nothing. It's
Right.
like, hey, you haven't even talked to your client.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, why don't you give what I'm asking you and
Right.
then go talk to them and then come back?
Yep.
Hey,
And
they
we'll
need
find
an
some
extra day
common
to
ground.
find the square footage. Dude.
Whatever it is.
Okay,
Yep.
no problem.
And
Yep.
literally, it was like, if I didn't kind of like shield my client from the nonsense of that,
Yes, which is part of our
He
job.
would have been like, screw
We're
this
out.
house.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even care.
Yeah.
F the seller.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
we'll find another one.
We've talked about that before too, where it's our job to be the therapist and manage those expectations. And there's a lot of things that I shield my clients from that they don't need to know. Like it's our job to have to deal with that.
Maybe
other
after
side,
the transaction close, I sometimes share.
Me
I'm
too,
like,
sometimes.
You guys have
You
no
have to know what
idea
I went
was-
through.
Yeah.
I have to share. I have
Yeah.
to share. Sorry, I got a vent.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
yes.
totally. It depends on the client, right? Like if they're good friends or whatever, I definitely will say something.
That's kind of like the most like petty thing that I've dealt with
It is,
before,
it's
and
so
especially from
petty.
this particular agent who I had a lot of respect for.
right. For someone who does a lot of business and everything, it's kind of like, dude, let's just work together.
You're pro. You should
Yeah.
be pro and
Right.
stop fighting me on like,
Right. On
Stop
these
being
little
silly.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
you go.
Exactly.
Okay, what's your biggest pet peeve?
just in general or for agents?
No, just in general.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah.
I'll go with agents because I think more the agents who don't answer their phone.
It's wild.
That's your
Job.
job.
It's
like
wild. I know.
it is, or they don't text, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That you call them and then they call you like at 7 p.m.
And you're like,
I'm like, okay.
okay, thank you. Well, and
Now I
that's-
can't talk to you.
Because they want to call you at 7 p.m. because they know you're not going to answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
It's like,
right.
oh, you have
I'm like,
kids?
oh,
And then
fine,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh no,
No,
I'm
yeah, that's
answering
great.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I got you now.
Yeah.
Like,
Now you're going to tell me everything. Yeah. It's
but,
interesting.
and another pet peeve is just lying.
Yeah.
This in general.
Yeah.
If you can't own up or tell the truth, I don't have time for you.
It's always
Right.
going to come out.
One way or the other.
Yeah,
You're going to know.
it always does. And also you can always feel it too, whether it's the business or a client or whoever, you're like,
And
Like,
that's
our
a lot
job
of
is to
agents
read
that
people.
don't answer their phones or kind of correlates.
I've been hired because the client would call and I'd always make sure to answer my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather answer the phone
Yeah.
than return calls later because sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes you forget.
No, it's true. I mean, we have a lot going on. We're balancing a lot, and then you have 2 kids at home. I mean, it can be a lot. So
Kids, sports, life.
all of it. Yep, I know.
But that's
Anyway.
part of the fun.
Do you want to know what my pet peeve is?
Yeah.
When you're in a parking lot.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you know when like you're waiting for a parking spot and you're like, okay, got my blinker on. Like, can we please?
Oh, and they're just sitting.
And they never back out.
That's the first one. Oh, I'll lay on the horn. You know. I drive like I'm on the East Coast, by the way. I'm like fast, honking the horn, get out of my way. Like, yeah, I ain't got time. They finally are slowly backing out and they're just going ever so slowly, right? The car comes to a full stop. They look down, put the car in drive. They have to, physically like click it, put it in drive versus just, most cars just, you can just tap it, right? 10 and 2, and then they're slowly, and I'm like,
It's because they're older.
no.
No?
Half the time, no. 90% of the time they're not. I'll tell you
Well, we all
who
know
it
what you're
normally is later.
It is.
It is bad. And then when it's like a female driving like a really big SUV, and I'm like, girl, if you don't know how to drive that thing, you shouldn't be. Yes. Like I can't anyway, By the way, I told Daniel he got a paint job on his new Porsche, and I was like, I'll come drive it tomorrow. And
Oh, gosh.
he wasn't thrilled about it. That's a story for later. Anyway, I just want to drive fast all the time. Okay, we have one more.
Okay. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
I'm very interested in this.
Well, I mean, I'll give you 2 answers.
Okay.
One, if I didn't, if I was a lot younger, I'd probably say like a professional athlete of some sort. I don't know,
Love it.
golf or something.
Yeah. Do you play golf?
Yeah, I like to play golf.
Nice.
But I mean, it's a pretty fun sport. Anything, I mean, football, baseball. I'd love to play baseball professionally. But
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's a
Yeah,
lot
that'd
of
be
travel. It's a lot
Yeah,
of that. But anyway,
true.
But now that I'm kind of older, a little bit wiser, I think I'd like to get into something like venture capital,
That'd be pretty cool.
some private equity stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not too late.
you're right.
It's not too late.
You're right.
But
But it's hard to give up what I have going on.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Especially when you've been doing it for so
Why?
long.
Why I would do either of those 2? Wow. Because one, you can make a
A lot.
ton of dough.
Yeah.
Well, in both.
In
Yes.
both.
Yeah.
In both. Yeah.
You know what I
mean,
think
you gotta-
you should be? Is a matchmaker.
Me?
Clearly, we're hearing you've got a good track record here.
And my
proof
younger
will be in the
brother has
pudding, though.
also matched. and
Oh, I thought you were
married.
going to
By
say
you?
you're single.
No, he's matched somebody too.
Oh, see. it's
Okay,
in
so
the
this
blood.
is like a Crudo thing.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, then you
Well,
need to
I don't
get-
think my older brother has.
You could
Okay,
be
well,
like
he's
that
out.
girl, $1 million matchmaker. Is that her name?
we're going to get a call from him. He's like, I found someone. We're like, oh my God, that was so quick.
Got it.
Tell me everything. I got it.
No.
He's like, Weston Clark. I'm like, no. Just kidding. We love you, Weston.
No, it seems like I don't know. There comes like periods where people become single, and well,
Yeah.
I'm a
yeah.
little older now, but
Yeah.
they come in waves. And
It's
so
true.
sometimes,
Divorce.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true.
it happens.
Yeah. I'm okay if they've got kids. I'm not having kids. So
Yeah,
I'm cool.
there
with
you
that.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you can already get that out of the way.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
missed that whole first section up there.
Exactly. Although I do I don't have to deal with it. My brother just
Right.
had a baby. Yeah.
Come back.
Exactly. She's like, here you go. She's crying.
Yeah, yeah.
She
She needs her
she pooped.
diaper change.
God, take her back.
you go.
Yeah. 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 I sent him we FaceTime the other day with my niece and I was like, oh, give her kisses. He's like, do you want a big snot bubble with it? And I was like, gladly.
Yeah.
So freaking cute. Oh my God. Anyway, thank you so much for being
thanks
here.
for having me. That
Yeah.
was
This
That's
was
really
so fun. Yes.
a good time.
All right. And we're planning on you to,
matchmaking.
yes.
She has a.
Maybe I'll have another
Vincent
good story
Crudo,
about that.
matchmaker.
Yeah.
He comes on in a year. He's like, so how's it going with your guy?
No, and my new tagline: luxury real estate expert and matchmaker.
Yes.
And we'll perform weddings in a little asterisk.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
officiate
Yeah.
anything.
Anything.
Full
Anything.
service.
Anything.
Anything.
Yeah. Anything. I like that.
People might
Anyway.
take that the wrong way, though.
They probably would.
They're like, anything.
Take it
Thank
how
you.
you want. I mean,
Thank
that's
you for
obviously
having
already
me.
happened to him. So, there's
Yeah.
that.
True.
Anyway, thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
thanks
here.
for letting me.
All right.
Come on.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
See you.
Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.